Dallas.
They're not doing
KTVT.
You can come through here. Take a shortcut. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Working on it. Working on it. Can you talk to me?
Hello, can you hear me?
One more time.
Dallas, are you ready?
Have we got it?
That's a very bright light. You ready now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Carol Alvarado, Chair of the Senate Democratic Caucus. Before we start our remarks, we want to extend our deepest condolences to the Austin community, to the families who have lost loved ones in the mass shooting yesterday. I want to commend Senator Eckhart. She has been engaged. I know she's been communicating with the mayor, and certainly want to recognize her efforts. I'm standing here with 8 of my Democratic colleagues. We left the Senate floor in protest of what is taking place right now, the mid-decade redistricting. We stand in solidarity with our House Democrat brothers and sisters. Our options here to push back, to fight in the Senate are pretty limited. So we're using every tool that we have to demonstrate our opposition, our protest, and again, our solidarity with our House members. I think it's very telling that you just heard Senator Menendez inquire about making a motion to bring up the flood bills before redistricting, because we feel that's where our priorities should be, tending to the flood victims and their families in the Hill Country. And there was not an opportunity to even really debate it, to offer the motion, and instead, as we sit here and as the flood bills again continue to take a back seat to pure politics and mid-decade redistricting. So to kick off our remarks, I want to ask the Vice Chair of the Senate Democratic Caucus to please come up. Senator Nathan Johnson of Dallas.
Thank you, Carol. I'm proud to stand here with my colleagues. We're standing outside the Civil Rights Room, which metaphorically is locked, in a context here of silencing voices and attacking the democratic process. I want to make 2 things very clear. This is not a both sides story. I hear this a lot. The Democrats ruthlessly gerrymander just as much as Republicans do. And nationwide, every state that has control gerrymanders. But Democrats don't do it mid-decennial. Democrats, when they're in control of the White House, don't tell Democratic states to redraw their maps so that they can withstand the rage of the voters for failed policies and bad leadership. Republicans, second thing I want to make clear, you don't have the political high ground in this one. Please spare us the sanctimonious outrage about Democrats abdicating their responsibility, fleeing from the work that we're supposed to be doing. There is only one party here, and I hate speaking in partisan terms. We all get along with our colleagues. We all work with our colleagues, but nothing's more partisan than redistricting, it's been said here. And there's only one party here that has actually abdicated its responsibility, and that's the Republican Party. But further than abdicating their responsibility, they're attacking the foundations of democracy. Actions by the Democrats, in contrast, including but not limited to the quorum break, including but not limited to senators going to Boston to alert the nation to what's happening here and call for support from legislators and voters from around the country. These are defensive in nature, a direct response to the feckless, cowardly, and frankly pathetic obedience of the Republicans in this building to the commands from Washington, D.C. These are mean words. It makes me sad to use them. My colleagues and I have enjoyed friendship, camaraderie, and most importantly, a sense of common mission with our Republican colleagues, including those with whom we frequently and intensely disagree on matters of policy. So to use language like this makes me sad, and it's difficult. But there is a limit, an appropriate limit, to how much we can tolerate in good conscience the partisan order following that we see here, when the consequence is to thwart the democratic process, when the consequence is to make voters into pawns, and when the consequence is to silence voices. And we're not going to be a part of it.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. And now the Vice Chair of the Senate Hispanic Caucus out of El Paso, Cesar Blanco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Buenas tardes, César Blanco, senador estatal. La gente de Texas quiere que los legisladores se enfoquen primero en la ayuda por las inundaciones y prepararnos mejor para los desastres. Pero los republicanos están perdiendo tiempo en un plan impopular para cambiar los mapas políticos, algo que la mayoría de tejanos y los votantes de Texas ni siquiera ven como prioridad. Hablemos claro, esto es un ataque de nuestra democracia y un ataque de las comunidades latinas y minorías, que con demasiada frecuencia son las primeras en ser silenciadas cuando quienes están en el poder manipulando las reglas. Es un intento descarado de quitarle representación a los latinos y minorías para debilitar el poder político de las mismas comunidades que están impulsando el crecimiento de Texas. Y todo esto nos deja fuera de las decisiones que afectan nuestras vidas. Estos políticos están haciendo trampa para escoger sus votantes y aferrarse al poder. Si lo logran ahora, lo harán antes cada elección, quitándole por completo a la gente el derecho de elegir a sus líderes. Cada día que se pierde en este abuso de poder es un día que no se dedica a ayudar a las familias que todavía se están recuperando de las inundaciones devastadoras, que cobraron vidas, que cobraron casas, que destrozaron comunidades. Texas merece líderes que pongan las necesidades de la gente primero, no la política por encima de las personas. Le debemos a nuestras comunidades mantener la atención donde debe de estar, ayudando a las familias a reconstruir y asegurando que nuestro estado esté listo para la próxima emergencia. Gracias.
Gracias, senador Blanco. No sé si hay prensa aquí en español, pero buen dicho, es importante que tenemos un mensaje también en español. Now I'd like to ask from Houston, whose congressional districts encompassing his Senate district certainly is getting hit the most in this. Please welcome my colleague from Houston, Senator Boris Miles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let's make this plain. For 2 decades plus, Texas has been found guilty in trying to suppress black and brown votes in the state of Texas, in minority districts. have been found guilty, 2 decades plus. And this is just another attempt of a hostile, rogue, racist takeover of democracy being directed by the presidents of this United States to protect him and the Republican Party, followed through by the governor of this state, and we're tired of it. What my colleagues and I are saying is we will not take part in democracy being washed out in this state of Texas. Thank you.
Thank you. And from here in Austin, she's been quite busy lately, but please help welcome Senator Sarah Eckhart.
Thank you so much, Carol. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us here standing before you came here to serve. We came here to serve all of our constituents, no matter what party they ascribe to, no matter what race they are, no matter where they were born, and especially irrespective of how loud they are, how wealthy they are, or how powerful they are. Our role is to represent all in our constituency. Our role is to serve our constituents. But what we're seeing in the chamber right now is our Republican colleagues serving themselves before serving the people of Texas. And we have such a tragic example of that in my own community, which will be profoundly affected by the redistricting, by pitting our best and our brightest against one another to compete in a single district, while the rest of my constituents are farmed out to Republican legislators, congresspeople, who represent as far away as Midland to the west and as far away as the Piney Woods to the east. My district will be profoundly affected by this map. But what's so deeply tragic to me today is that 135 people are dead in a state that experiences more flooding deaths than any other state in the nation. 10 of those people were my neighbors in Travis County. And then just yesterday, we had a mass shooting where 3 individuals were shot down by a man with mental illness who was found naked and holding a Bible when he was apprehended. We will have some flooding relief in that chamber later on today, but not until we do redistricting first. And we will not have any red flag protective order in response to yet another mass shooting that is taking the lives of innocent Texans, that is taking the lives of Texas children. Who are we serving with redistricting? Ourselves? Because we have a lot of work to do to serve Texans who are desperate for flood relief and desperate for red flag protective orders against this national nightmare of mass shootings.
Thank you. And now our newest member to the Senate, from Houston, Senator Molly Cook.
Thank you all so much. It's my honor to be here in solidarity with our House colleagues today as they bravely hold the line for our communities to protect our democracy, but also to protect our ability to hold our leaders accountable when they take away our health care, when they take away journalism, and when randoms from out of state in DC hand the people of Texas maps and tell them who should be representing them. Politicians don't choose their people. The people choose their politicians. And so it is an honor to be here with you today and to hold that line alongside our extremely courageous House colleagues. I'm now heading back to my district. I'm not walking back into that chamber today. And I'm going to meet with constituents, many of whom have been violently redistricted out of their home districts where they have grown up with their communities, their churches, and their families for decades. Right now, there's a concrete batch plant directly across from a school in my district that is spewing dust and poison into the lungs of children trying to go back to school. The only reason that that's allowed is 30 years of failed leadership. 30 years of corruption and selling out. Texas Republicans right now are pushing through their hyper-partisan political agenda, and they could not even symbolically put flooding first today. The truth is, it's been well over 5 weeks since the tragedy happened, and every single day that has ticked by, the governor has had the power to move the money that those folks need. We have not had one conversation on the Senate floor about temporary housing. We have not had one conversation about buyouts. And we've never had conversations about not constructing in floodways because we know this state has deadly floods. The governor needs to stop wasting our time. We deserve a promise that money will start moving today, but instead we got a promise that we will call special session after special session in perpetuity, wasting your time, wasting your money, and insulting not just the people who recently died in the most horrifying way, but every single one of our communities that has lived through a hurricane, a wildfire, a tornado, a power outage, or any of the other horrific scenes that we are never prepared for in this state. Texans are sick and tired of the political games. We sure are. So we're here to say, stop it. Stop the mid-districting redecade. Stop the mid-decade redistricting. Put flooding first. Stop letting politicians pick their people. Put the people first. Thank y'all.
Thank you. And to close this out, someone who has been our voice, someone who's made it his life mission to address common sense gun reform. And he's been out there on this issue for quite some time. Unfortunately, he had to have words about that yesterday in light of another mass shooting. Please welcome from San Antonio, Senator Roland Gutierrez.
Thank you, Carol. I appreciate it. You know, I don't know if I have much to say. Quite honestly, I think it's already been said. What's happening down in that room right now is nothing but a scam and a sham on the people of Texas and the American public. And this bullshit president has done all this on his watch, and this governor has perpetuated this scam. And so I didn't know what else to say that my colleagues haven't already told you. But as I walked up to the Capitol and I looked up at the flag that stands above it, I saw the star on that flag. And the flag used to mean something in Texas. It was symbolic for strength and independence.
Yes.
I'm pretty certain now that under the watch of Greg Abbott, that's nothing more than a one-star Google review. Because let's be clear, the facts are clear. We have a woeful education system, a woeful healthcare system, a woeful infrastructure system that couldn't even give people in Kirk County water gauges, 100-year-old technology and sirens. That never happened, even though it was asked in this very last regular session, and that bill was killed by the lieutenant governor. We have time after time asked them to fix the infrastructure of our rural communities, and Republicans have failed to do so. We have time after time asked them to fix the infrastructure of communities along the border, on communications, so that we wouldn't have another Uvalde. And time after time we have asked for some basic common sense gun violence solutions, so that a man doesn't walk into a Target, steal some cars, shoot down 3 people, and just if you don't know, when the guy was arrested, he was naked with a Bible in his hand. Already shown to have countless mental health holds, and yet in this state, any mentally ill person or 18-year-old kid can access an AR-15. And that is why this state is broken. That is why we don't deserve any more than a one-star review, because Greg Abbott and his friends have screwed us over and over and over again. And my message to rural Texas, you've been screwed more than anybody. And you keep voting for these fools. It is time that we have real change and real issues. And much like my representative colleague, Senator Molly Cook, I'm not going to go back into that farce, into that bullshit room where nothing gets done today, because they would rather do Donald Trump's bidding They would rather be Donald Trump's lapdogs than to do what is necessary for the people of the state of Texas. Thank you, Leader.
How do you feel, Rose?
Yeah, tell us really. We'll take a few questions. Did I invite
Senator
members?
West was in Albuquerque 23 years ago. Two of his colleagues who are still in the chamber were also there. How come they're not out here with you, and are you disappointed in the fact that you can't?
The fact of the matter is that we all got together and made a decision to have at least two of the members on the floor asking questions. So that's what that is.
But without those two, the bill doesn't go anywhere.
Well, the reality is that everyone has to represent their district interests. And so we've come to a consensus in terms of exactly what we need to do. The fact is that we're wasting time. The governor's already said there's going to be another session, and they're still, quote unquote, holding out hope that the Democrats, House Democrats, are going to cave and come back before Friday. You know as well as I know, this bill is going nowhere. The bills that we're going to consider, they're not going anywhere, because the Democrats in the House, that we stand in unity with, they're not going to cave. There will be a second session. Everything we're doing right now, we end up having to do again.
Would Senate Democrats walk out again? Second special session?
I'm sorry?
Would Senate Democrats walk out again?
Let me say something to you. As a lawyer, I don't communicate to the other side what I'm going to do. I'm not going to start today.
So what is the answer? I mean, we've heard, Senator Gutierrez, Senator Cook, all of you have expressed extreme displeasure. You're sending a direct message to Texans when you're speaking here. So what is it going to take for your message to get out, to be heard, and for there to be a change at the Texas State House?
Change the people in the seats.
Yes, 2026 elections is one of the answers. I think the word is out there. We had, 35 different state legislatures represented when we were on the Capitol steps of the State House in Massachusetts. You're all here reporting this. It's the talk of the Twitter spheres, the talk of the nation. The word is out. And I do think that in 2026, you are going to see some results that are going to negate the games that are being played in that chamber right now. And we know that because we've seen polling. A lot of people don't like this, and some of those people are called Republicans, and they're going to vote for Democrats. And we won't have this anymore because there will be a shockwave that runs through the nation when they see what happens in Texas in 2026.
But won't there have to be a shockwave that goes through the state of Texas first for, having Democrats as governor, lieutenant governor, et cetera, all the way down? Isn't that what you're asking for?
It is what we're asking for. 2026, November. It's not long from now.
Jack, let me just say one thing right here on this. Just this morning, I read an article about Texarkana, a community that received energy credits under the last presidential administration. All that has been wiped off, and all of the new companies that went in there are now busted. And unemployment is very, very high in that community now. That community that was filled with so much hope and anticipation, unfortunately, voted for Donald Trump. And now, that rural community is hurting. Donald Trump, through this last tax bill, has hurt rural farmers, has hurt small farms and mid-sized farms. They've cut school programs, school lunch programs. So people across this state, rural and urban, are going to see it. Inflation this morning up 5 points under this president. The cost of goods sold up. Everything. The cost of the grocery stores, the eggs never went down. And so I think that people really need to open their eyes and see what's going on. Whether you're in El Paso, Texas, or up in the Panhandle or down in the Valley, you're getting screwed by Donald Trump and his politics. And the only people winning here are billionaires and millionaires. People need to wake the hell up.
And Jack, let me say this. This is a 12-round fight. Okay? Yes, we're in the first couple of rounds. And the reality is that they have the votes in order to do this. But people around the country understand exactly what's going on. From that vantage point, we will win this particular fight at the end of the 12 rounds.
Since the governor has called a second special session, how do you all view the efforts of your House Democrats? Is this a win for them in round one of this redistricting?
Yeah, it's an absolute win, and that's why we're doing what we can. We have limited options, but I think by them taking such a drastic move and leaving. To make sure that the rest of the nation knows what's taken place. And we have aided in that effort by holding a press conference last week with legislators from over 35 states. And the message was very clear. This is not just a Texas problem. This is coming to a state near you very soon. And we had legislators there who their states have already been named by Trump. Missouri, Florida. We appreciate the efforts that our colleagues in California are doing. Those are bold steps. Nobody asked for this. This started with Trump very specifically saying, I want 5 seats. Then he said, I'm entitled to 5 seats. The letter from the DOJ targeting 4 congressional districts that are all majority minority. And now here we are today. We applaud the efforts of our House colleagues. We stand with them in solidarity.
Do you all encourage them to come back?
Rather, the Republican Party wants to believe it or not, the reality of this is this immoral, racist antics that they are performing here today and across the country is not doing anything but waking up our base. It's waking up Democrats across the country, as my colleagues have told you. So whether they want to believe it or not, the antics they're performing today and going on across this country are not going to do anything but make our people go out to vote, along with, as my colleague said, rural Texans who have gotten screwed by this administration. It's time to wake up. It's time to see reality, and it's time to rise up.
Last question.
One more question, please, and then you can ask
Dan
individuals.
Patrick isn't on the dais while they're taking up redistricting.
Are you surprised?
Okay. Thank y'all very much. Everybody will stick around to answer questions if you need to. Thank you.